Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan Koki of the Seahawk Recap Show, and welcome to this Week 14 Seahawk game recap between the Atlanta Falcons and your Seattle Seahawks. And that's now 10 wins on the season. If I had to describe this game in one word, it would be the tale of two halves. But I'm here to recap it for you guys. And before I ramble on a little too much more in the intro, let's get into the video, shall we? If you like this video, let me know by leaving a like. It lets me know if I'm doing a good job on these game recaps or not. And if you would like to, please subscribe to the channel so that you not only don't miss out on any Seahawks future content from me, but I'm also trying to reach 100 subscribers by the end of this year. That would be greatly appreciated. Game summary: Seahawks win 37 to the Falcons 9 on the road. And let's start off with the Atlanta Falcons because they were the home team. They had a total of 274 total yards, 154 yards passing, 120 yards rushing, averaged 4.4 yards per play. They had 15 first downs. They went 1 for 13 on third down, went 1 for 2 on fourth down, had 62 total plays, one sack allowed by Jaron Reed coming off of IR, two punts, eight penalties for 56 yards given up, one fumble lost by Bijan Robertson, and two interceptions thrown today by Kirk Cousins. One given to Nick Imamori, the other one given to Devin Witherspoon, and the Atlanta Falcons ended off the day with 38 minutes and 40 seconds of possession time. For your Seattle Seahawks, they had a total of 365 total yards today, 236 yards passing, 129 yards rushing. They averaged 6.3 yards per play, had 20 first downs. They went 6 for 13 on third down, didn't go for it on fourth down. They had 58 total plays, two sacks allowed, three punts, six penalties for 60 yards given up, zero fumbles lost, and the one interception thrown by Sam Darnold, picked off by Mike Hughes. And the Seahawks ended the day off with 31 minutes and 20 seconds of possession time. As we get to Ryan's focus players, let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons for a minute. Quarterback Kirk Cousins, 15 for 30 today, 162 yards, zero touchdowns. Again, the two interceptions, one by Devin Witherspoon and the first pick of his young career, Nick Imamori. So Kirk Cousins to me this game didn't do great. The offense for the Falcons is obviously going to be run through Bijan Robinson. We'll get to him in a minute, but for Kirk Cousins, a lot of his screen passes were working in the first half, but they couldn't capitalize in the red zone, being denied four times today by the Seahawks defense. And Kirk Cousins, again, 162 yards. That's nothing to scoff at, but again, the picks are what cost the Falcons a lot of drives today. It's the inability to get the air attack going against a very stout Seahawks defense. So, all in all, I think he had not much to write home about. Let's get to running back for the Falcons. Bijan Robertson, 20 carries for 86 yards, 4.3 yards per carry, zero touchdowns. And this is the guy that the Falcons offense runs through. Bijan Robertson really impressed me because he is a guy like Kenneth Walker who is so patient in his routes that he can just find any types of gaps or space. And that's very hard to do against the Seahawks defensive front that is one of the best at stopping the run this season. Also, another thing that really impressed me with Bijan Robertson in this game is not only does when he finds the hole, does he just shoot right through it, but his acceleration, his stop and go momentum, he can just stop, wait, 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 okay, shoot, and he just runs through and gets up to the second level very, very quickly. That is an explosive runner, and it's a running back that I really would also build my offense around if I was the Atlanta Falcons, and they have done that. So a good game from Bijan Robertson, all things considered. I think he had a pretty decent day. Just didn't have his impact felt on the score sheet, and he did cough up a fumble in this game as well. Let's get to the leading wide receiver, or should I say tight end in this case, Kyle Pitts. 6 receptions for 90 yards, averaging 15 yards per reception, 0 touchdowns. Kyle Pitts was targeted 10 times in this game, and he dropped one of them at least that he should have had. It's a thing where they need their stars to show up the top. Their offense is what let them down, not only in this game, but also, I believe, this season. But I think Kyle Pitts had a decent day because he was the only receiving threat basically for Kirk Cousins the entire game. Nobody else could get open basically other than Kyle Pitts. So I think he had a pretty decent day in that regard. Just wish he would have they would have capitalized on some of the drops he had if I was a Falcons fan. Let's get to the Falcons defense, the bright spot of this team today. Let's talk about defensive end. First round draft pick in this year's draft, I believe 26th overall, James Pierce Jr., 2 solo tackles, no assisted, the 1 sack, no forced fumbles. And James Pierce Jr., man, one of the big things that I learned about the Falcons from this game was that they needed to improve their pass rush, and they started to do that in this year's draft. And James Pierce Jr. comes in, first drive of the game, gets a sack right away, and he actually was in a position where he had 5 sacks in consecutive games for 5 games. And it's amazing to see young talent like that. This Falcons team was so worrisome. At least the defense was so worrisome in that first half because they held the Seahawks to 6 points. That is not something I would have expected from Falcons defense. So good game from James Pierce Jr. He has a bright future ahead of him, and I think he can lead this Falcons defensive pass rush. So good game from him. Let's get to another guy that had a really good game himself, the cornerback AJ Terrell Jr., 7 solo tackles, 1 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. AJ Terrell Jr., every time the Seahawks have faced the Falcons, he has been a problem. He is insane in his coverage. He was basically nailed to JSN the entire game long. And it's insane to me that a guy like AJ Terrell is this talent. Like, this guy is so talented. I know he gave up 2 touchdowns to JSN in this game. Before that, it was week 10 against the Saints in 2024. I think it was like 663 snaps consecutive that he didn't allow a touchdown. That is insane from a guy like AJ Terrell. Loved his game today. Really annoyed that he's not on my team as a corner. Good game from AJ Terrell, leading the team in tackles today on this defense. Let's get to linebacker. Caden Ellis, 2 solo tackles, 4 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. But him and Divine Diablo, they are a really good linebacker front. And again, I'm going to bring it back to the first half. They were getting pressure on Sam Darnold the entire first half. They were making it very uncomfortable for him. And this is why guys like AJ Terrell, guys like James Pierce Jr., guys like Caden Ellis, they are a good front to have. They're good on their defensive marks. It would have just been nice for the Falcons if they could get their offense going, because eventually their defense buckled in the second half, especially in that third quarter, and the game just got away from them. But Caden Ellis, I think, had a really good game stopping the run. Kenneth Walker, especially, I saw a lot of Kenneth Walker's tackles behind the line come from a guy like Caden Ellis. So good game from him. Let's talk about the Seahawks. QB Sam Darnold, 20 for 30, 249 yards, 3 touchdowns, the 1 pick. 2 touchdowns to JSN. And, I just want to say Sam Darnold had a really good game in this one. However, his decision making on this pick, I believe he's thrown now 11 picks this year. He was running on a bootleg and it was picked off by Mike Hughes, and he threw it into double coverage. He tried to force the ball and it got picked off. You cannot do that. He's been doing that a lot over the year. And then in the third, Sam Darnold showed us what he could do with this offense, and he just exploded onto the scene. JSN was getting his targets. He was helping out Rashid Shaheed get his best game as a Seahawk. And I love the way he's able to go through his progressions. And he's now taking the checkdowns. One of the things that he did to fix his issues that he had in the first half was to take the checkdowns, take the easy yardage, trust his guys, and that's what he did in this game. That's why his numbers are this good. So good game from Sam Darnold, despite the interception. You kind of need to clean those up, man, because in the playoffs, that's going to be exploited. But good game from him regardless. Let's talk about running back. And it wasn't a good day for running backs of Seattle, but Zach Charbonnet, 7 carries for 46 yards, averaged 6.6 yards per carry, 0 touchdowns. I'm wondering if that was a game plan thing or this Falcons defensive front is just one of the best lines in football when it comes to stopping the run, because the Seahawks usually run a lot more than they did today. I believe they had 17 some odd carries with the first 2 premier backs. Kenneth Walker getting 10 and Zach Charbonnet obviously getting 7. But Zach Charbonnet did pop off a couple big runs in this game, a couple 10-yard runs, and he popped off, I believe, a 25-yard long in this game. So good game for Zach Charbonnet. He's a wrecking ball. He's always been a wrecking ball. Love how he's being used in this system, and I liked how he was in this game. I just wish he would have gotten a lot more yards, but this Falcons defensive front was just pretty darn good. Let's talk about wide receiver Rashid Shaheed. 4 receptions, 67 yards, averaged 16.8 yards per reception, no receiving touchdowns, but the one kick return touchdown that started it all. 100 yards to the house. And this is exactly why the Seahawks brought in Rashid Shaheed from the Saints. They needed a guy on special teams. They got a guy on special teams that's been damn good since he joined the league with the Saints. And he gets his first kickoff return touchdown of his career. Rashid Shaheed, man, it's taken him a while to get into this offense, kind of find his way. But in this game, he was getting passes across the middle. He was playing in the slot sometimes. He was just doing what he does best, which is burn people with his speed and route running acceleration. Because off the line, his release as a wide receiver is very, very useful. I want to see more of that. I want to see Sam Darnold spread it to everyone that he can, because you don't just have Jackson Smith-Njigba, you also have Rashid Shaheed, you also have Cooper Kupp, but great game from Rashid Shaheed. I think he is a great complement to this wide receiver room. And I love that he got a touchdown here from the special teams, because people were kind of ragging on him a little bit as, oh, he's not as dangerous as people were advertising him to be on these punt and kick returns as a special teamer. Well, here you go. He gets the ball in the third quarter, first kickoff of the third quarter. Seahawks get the ball and he runs it down to 100 yards for 100 yards. Let's go to the Seahawks defense. D lineman, welcome back. Defensive tackle Jaron Reed, 1 solo tackle, 1 assisted, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble on BJ Robertson. And here is the reason why we need a guy like Jaron Reed coming off of IR after he had a wrist and thumb injury. He, in this defensive front, is a rotational guy who puts up not the biggest numbers, but he's there to cause chaos. He's there to open lanes up for other people, and that's exactly what he did in his return. Great game from this D-line of the Seahawks, and great game from Jaron Reed. Let's get to safety. Nick Imamori, man, this was a fantastic game from him, his best of his career, I believe, in my opinion. 3 solo tackles, 2 assisted, 1 sack, and 1 field goal block. It says forced fumble, but it's a field goal block. He also got an interception in there, and that's his first career interception. This guy plays all over the field. He's basically the Kyle Hamilton replacement for Mike McDonald in his new defense in Seattle, and he's just super athletic. Everything that Nicky Mamori did today, he was a stat sheet stuffer, blocking the field goal. He made sure he got an interception in there. He made sure that he was causing havoc. This guy makes tackles and he hits you like a freight train and makes you remember that he's in the middle of this, of this box. He's a box safety who can play safety, who can play nickel, who can play every position that you need him to. That's what he did. He's a versatile butter knife for this Seahawks team, and he did a fantastic job today. Let's get to linebacker Ernest Jones. 5 solo tackles, 6 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. But Ernest Jones is the head of this linebacker core. He leads the team in tackles for a reason. And what can I say about Ernest Jones that hasn't already been said? He's going up against a guy in BJ Robertson. Every single time that BJ Robertson got tackled, it was because of this linebacker core, and it was mostly because of Ernest Jones. I think he had a really good day today in the tackle department. His ability to, call defensive signals, his ability to block up wide receivers, and all that kind of stuff is why I love Ernest Jones on this team. I think he had a fantastic day today. Final thoughts. What went well? The Seahawks exploded in the third quarter of this game to salt away this blowout victory, scoring 31 points in the second half of this game. It was a 6-6 first half. In the second half, third quarter, they scored 17 points alone. And again, forcing 3 turnovers, 2 picks, 1 forced fumble from BJ Robertson, and it's all 3 facets of the game. How about that special teams unit from Jay Hardball? I don't think we as Seahawks fans appreciate the special teams enough, or at least I haven't been talking about the special teams enough in my videos, because they not only got a blocked field goal, but they also got a kick return touchdown. And they've had Jason Myers, who has been exceptional this year's making field goals. So great game, just all around. This is a perfect way to get 10 wins on the season. But like everything, what to improve on? That first half of football was kind of scary to watch because the Falcons defense is quite scary themselves. Again, their defensive front is something to be scared of because they were manhandling the Seahawks. They were making sure that there was no running lanes to go through. And if you were going to go through running lanes, they were going to hit you into oblivion. They made sure that they got sacks on Sam Darnold, and they got a pick from Sam Darnold, which I will bring up that Sam Darnold's decision making on the pick wasn't good. It really wasn't. I'll say it because we're coming up to playoffs here. There's 4 weeks left. We're coming to playoffs. You need to clean up the turnovers. There's 11 picks on the year. I believe the Seahawks are 21 turnovers in the league, second most in the league, behind the Minnesota Vikings. So that needs to turn around, and he kind of needs to realize that he can throw the ball away. He doesn't always need to play hero ball. I think he needs to be a little more conservative with some of his throws when it comes to him in the pocket, because he can throw it into trouble sometimes. Lastly, the running game didn't get going as much as I would have liked it to, but I'm wondering if that was just a game plan thing, because we know that Seattle loves to run the ball. They are a run first team. So the fact that they got stopped by the Falcons, I'm hoping that that is just a blip, and it's something that it's like, oh yeah, we didn't do great in the yardage department, but we'll bounce back next week against the Colts, hopefully. Overall, my final thoughts. An electrifying win from this team. That second half was amazing. And now the Seahawks are 10-3, man. From my perspective, from the NFC playoff picture, this team, and I'm going to say it right now, can compete for first seed in the NFC. With how ridiculous this season has been, with how good the Seahawks have been playing, they are a playoff team, no doubt in my mind. And again, they can do some damage in these playoffs. Great to see. Hopefully, they keep it up. And they're now on a 3-game win streak. They've been streaky. I believe they're 14-2 on the road in the Mike McDonald era. That is amazing to see. So great game from the Seahawks on all fronts. Let's get ready for the Colts next week. For the Falcons, you guys' defense up front was very scary. And I know I'm a broken record with that, but you've got to find some silver lining. As a Falcons fan, you look at this game and you look at the final score and go 37-9. That is completely awful. We must have just not had a very good game. If you're scoreboard watch, the thing is, your defense had a very good game. Your defense wasn't, I don't think, to blame for the Seahawks waking up on offense and then beating you into a pulp. Your defense is going to be out in the field, and when they make stops, your offense has to capitalize. So, in my opinion, you should take some solace from this game and go, just got away from us. That really sucks. Hate to lose in a blowout fashion, but there are positives to take from this game. Guys like AJ Terrell had a very good game. Guys like Jesse Bates had a good game locking up JSN. Guys like Bijan Robinson had a good game. You know, your rookies in your pass rush system, they had a good game stopping this Seahawks explosive offense. You can take positives from this. And I know as a 4-9 team now, you look at the season and go, oh, it's lost. It's over. I don't want to be positive. But I think from a losing team perspective, you kind of need to be positive. You need to find the silver linings, or else you'll just be miserable. But anyways, that is it for this Seahawk game recap of Week 14. Atlanta Falcons versus your Seattle Seahawks. Let me know in the comment section down below. How do you feel about this win, Seahawks fans? Let's hope that next week, week 15 against the Colts, will go as well as it did today. That was an awesome game to watch. Anyways, the Hawks go, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourselves. Have a good day.